All right, guys, in our next section of decimals, we're going to be talking about ordering numbers. So, where would we order decimals and why would we do that? Well, here's a good example. Mrs. Jacobson had triplets. Carson weighed 2 and 9 tenths of a kilogram. Brandon weighed 2 kilograms and 979 hundredths of a kilogram. Lauren weighed 2 and 971 hundredths of a kilogram. So sometimes doctors will order the triplets from greatest birth weight to the least. Since we aren't talking about thousands, we're not going to do that. I just wanted to give you a real world example. All right, let's take a look at this set. We're going to order this set of numbers from least to greatest. That always gets, my friends. Make sure, are they asking about from the least, the smallest amount, to the greatest, the biggest amount? On this one, they are. So we've got 4,375 and 25 hundredths compared to 4,375 and 5 tenths. Then we've also got 4,375 and 21 hundredths. So we've got to see which one is the least because that's what they're asking for. Well, we're going to line them up. Make sure you put the decimals all in a line. That's going to help you to line all your numbers correctly. So now we see that we've already put them on our place value chart. We're going to begin comparing from the left. We see that all of the thousands place has 4s. They're all the same. All of the hundreds place are the same with 3. All of the tens place are the same with 7. The ones place has all 5s. Oh, this is where things get different. We've got a 2, a 5, and a 2. I know that the middle number is the greatest because 5 is greater than 2. So I can write the greatest number at the end, right? I'm going to take this number, 4,375 and 5 tenths, and write it at the end. Now I'm going to look at these two. Well, I know that they both have the thousands, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones place the same. Well, they both have 2s in the tens place. So now I've got to go to the hundredths place. I already know that this one is the greatest. So now I got to see which one is the least here. Is it the 5 or the 1? Well, I know that 5 is greater than 1, so I know that this is going to be the least amount. So I'm going to write 4,375 and 21 hundredths as the least amount. Then I'm going to write 4,375 and 25 hundredths. And then I'm going to write 4,375 and 5 tenths. So I knew that was the greatest. I wrote it at the end. They both had 2s in the tenths place. I noticed that the 5 was greater than the 1. So I know that 1 is less than 5. So my least was going to be the bottom one, 4,375 and 21 hundredths. So I wrote that at the beginning because I was looking for the least. So there's only one answer to put in the middle. All right, let's try this one. We're going to order this from least to greatest again. I've got 3,242 and 1 hundredth. I've got 31,243 and 36 hundredths. Then I've got 31,243 and 29 hundredths. So the first thing I'm going to do you remember? That's correct. Line up my numbers according to the places. So I'm going to line up my decimals. And then I'm going to look. I see the 10 thousandths place is a little bit different. I see I've got 2 with the something at 3 in the 10 thousandths place. Then I have one that's 0. I know that 0 is less than 3. So my least amount is going to be this one. So I'm going to take that first number of 3,242 and 100th. I'm going to write it for my least. Then I notice that the 10,000s place is the same, the 1,000s place is the same, the hundreds, the tens place, the ones place. But then when I get to the tenths place, I see a 3 and then I see a 2. Well, I know that 2 is less than 3, so this is going to be a lesser amount than this one. So I'm going to take that bottom number, I'm going to write it in the middle, and I already know which one's my greatest because it's the only one left. Okay, so these are going to get more challenging. Now you've got 2,550 and 72 hundredths. We've got 25,550 and 8 tenths. We've got 2,504 and 7 tenths. 2,540 and 84 hundredths. I want you to put these in order from least to greatest. Okay, don't forget the first thing that you should do is, that's right, line up your numbers with the decimals. So you're going to, if you have to put all the little dots going down, the decimals, do that first, and then you can fill in your blanks, okay? Make sure that all the numbers are nice and even and in line. And then you're going to look for, start over here, and you're going to tell which one is the greatest. The one sticks out right away for the greatest. Can you guys see that? It's clearly the greatest because it's got something in the 10,000s place, the only one. So we're going to cross that out, and we're going to put that in the answer as the greatest. We're looking for the least. I do know that they both, all three that are left, have 2 in the thousands place, have 5s in the hundreds place, on the ones, the tens place, I see 2 4s and a 5. So that's different. I know that 5 is greater than 4. So that's going to be the next greatest. We already figured out that the 2 greatest numbers are the ones that are crossed out. Now we just need to find the least. So we've got 25,550 and 8 tenths as the greatest. Then the next one we have 2,550 and 72 hundredths. We've got 2 left that we've got to figure out. And we're getting smaller as we go into the top. I'm looking at the tenths place and I see a 7 and an 8. I know that 7 is less than 8, so that is telling me that the least amount is 2,540 and 7 tenths, which leaves me with 2,540 and 84 hundredths as the second to the greatest, second least. All right, let's try this one. Okay, I hope that you guys put your decimals right on top of each other, lined them up. All right, I hope that you guys noticed that the question is order the set of numbers from greatest to least. So now we're looking for the greatest number to put on top. Do you remember what we do first after we line them up? Well, there are clearly 2 of these. The second and the fourth numbers are the greatest. How do we know? Well, they both have something in the thousands place, right? I do know that they have a 1 in the thousands place. They have a 0 in the hundreds. They have a 0 in the tens. But when I go to the ones, the first one has a 0 and the bottom one has a 1. I know that 1 is greater than 0, so the greater of the two would be the bottom one of 1001 and 100th. I'm going to write that on the top because I'm ordering it from greatest to least. Then I can clearly write the second one. Okay, so now we need to compare the remaining two numbers. We've got 978 and 31 hundredths, 978 and 32 hundredths. Ooh, I see they both have 9s in the hundreds, 7s in the tens, 8s in the ones. They both have 3s in the tenths place. And then one has a 1 in the hundredths, and the other one has a 2 in the hundredths. I know that 2 is greater than 1. I'm looking for greatest to least, so I know that 978 and 32 hundredths is greater than 978 and 31 hundredths. So I'm going to write the one with the 32 next, and then the least amount is at the bottom, which the 978 and 31 hundredths. Here we go. Now you try. I hope that you guys labeled, or not labeled, but lined up your decimals. So these numbers are all the same. They're just the decimals moved around, if you have noticed. So that is another reason I wanted to point out that decimals are important. So if I said, okay, guys, we're all going to get 1764 in a check. Well, would you, and I'm just going to move the decimal around into the 4 different checks. Which check would you want? Well, it makes a big difference where that decimal falls. So the first one, we have 176 and 4 tenths. Then we've got 1 and 76 hundredths. We've got 17 and 64 hundredths. Then we've got 76 hundredths. So depending where that decimal is, makes a big difference, especially if we're talking about money. I want you to take a look at this first two numbers. Check this out. They both have 1764, 176, even if we put the 4 here. Wow. This is $176.40. This one is only $1.76, right? Big difference. As soon as you line them up, it's easy to see the two greatest numbers. Now, when we're looking at the question, it says order the set of numbers from greatest to least. So it's pretty obvious which one is the greatest. Then we can see which one is the next greatest. It's pretty obvious. And if we keep going, it's pretty obvious to keep going if you're looking at it as a money kind of problem, right? 176 and 40 cents. Then we've got $17.64. And then we've got $1.76 or 76 cents. If you're looking at it money wise, right? If you're just looking at numbers, you can tell that 0 is less than 1. So we know that 1 is greater than 0. So we know which is our answer that's going to be next and the least amount. All right, guys, thanks for studying decimals with me. I hope that you guys always look at your decimals carefully because they can really change your life.